Hi, in this video, we're going to go over Math 154. Homework 1E, question number 11. Suppose you go to a conference attended by 20 Canadians and 20 Norwegians. How many people must you meet to be certain that you have met two people of the same nationality? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say that, because let's say that you meet the first person. First person. If I go in and meet the first person, it could be either, let's say, Canadian, right? Canadian. Or it could be a Norwegian, right? It's gonna be one of them. All right. Now let's say that I go and meet the second person. If I started with the Canadian, well, I have two options, right? My second person could be another Canadian, or the second person could be a Norwegian. Okay, so if you look at the first case, if you look at this first branch, then I already met the two people of the same nationality. But if I'm looking at the second branch right here, if I start with Canadian and then I meet the Norwegian, then I really didn't meet the two people from the same nationality just yet. So I'm going to look at this branch now, okay? So say that I started with Norwegian. The second person could be a Canadian. Or the second person could be a Norwegian. I'm going to look at the last one first. If you look at the last one, meeting a Norwegian first, then meeting another Norwegian, then I'm done. I already met two people from the same country. So you know what? I think it will be easy if I can just put the check mark there. Now, take a look at the next line for me, okay? So I met the second person, but there were two cases. Like this case right there and this case right there. If I start with Canadian and met a Norwegian, then I really didn't meet two people from the same country yet. So let's say that I go meet the third person. Okay? I could either meet a Canadian or what? Norwegian, right? Now, think about the first case for me here, okay? If I started with the Canadian and next person I meet is a Norwegian, if the third person I meet is Canadian, look, the third person I met and the first person I met are from the same country. So I'm done there, okay? If I look at the second one, okay, starting with Canadian first, second person is Norwegian, and the third person is Norwegian, then look, the second person and third person I met are from the same country. So by third person, it's going to happen, okay? Now, I'm going to just take a look at these two branches. I'm going to take a look at every case possible. So if I met Norwegian, Canadian, the third person is either going to be Canadian or Norwegian, right? Now look at this with me, okay? So if I take the first branch, starting with Norwegian, Canadian next, okay? If I meet a Canadian for the third person, then the second person I met and third person I met are from the same country. Okay, so it happened. If I look at the bottom one, if I started with Norwegian and then Canadian, and then the third person that I met is from the same country as the first person. So it's gonna happen by what time, what person? The third person. So I'm gonna go back to my lab and enter that, okay? I'm gonna say you must meet at least 3 people for this to happen, okay? Because by the time you meet 3 people, then, you've seen every branches of the possibilities, right? It's gonna happen. So I'm gonna say 3, and I'll say check answer. And that is how, I think, maybe a longer way of doing this, but I hope this explanation helped. Let me know if you have any questions on what I just talked about in this video, okay?